Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run from the Reds for the tie to score.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit the deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winning. It's a winning. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose, and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. Again on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Roy Trin pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. This one belongs to the Reds.
That's it pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
1 out, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. Oh, he gets one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Reds fans, good evening. What's going on? And welcome to another edition of the Chatterbox Reds pregame show. I'm Hunter Hurst. That's Mad Max Alfonso, the king of the world. And Max, the Reds picked up another big win last night. Things looked pretty rough there for about 15 minutes, and then the Reds just really put it all together. And I believe that was the top of the 9th. And grinding out some gritty ABs against Kenley Jansen, able to scratch across a pair of runs. J.R. House lost his mind there for a minute, sending Will Benson to the plate. I was pissed about that for all of 10 minutes because Tony Santillan just locked down the Angels for the win. How are we feeling? Because we can go for a sweep tonight.
Yeah, I was feeling great last night until they put in Luis May in the 8th inning, and I was just looking around like, what is going on here? That was incredibly bizarre, and still is bizarre to me. But the Reds won, and that's really all that matters. J.R. House did lose his mind. That was a crazy send of Will Benson, who was out by about 17 feet. I think he might have thought it was Ellie, or he thought Benson was Ellie or something. And the speed, I don't know what it was. But Reds were victorious, and that's all that matters. And tonight, we should have. If Pagan's not available tonight, then I think we start to wonder, like, all right, like, is there something up here? But but the Mets are losing right now, so if we get a win, we'll be tied with them.
Yeah, Mets are they just stranded the bases loaded in the 6th inning, I believe. So it's not only the Reds that are doing it. The Red Sox did it 3 innings in a row last night in that game. So my favorite thing about the JR House sim last night is I went back and watched the replay. I saw it on Twitter this morning. Is when the throw comes home, Will Benson isn't in frame for a second, a full second until he gets into the frame, which covers like 10 feet of the baseline. He was so out. He might be more out than anyone's ever been in the history of the game of baseball. I don't get what that send was. It was hilarious, is all that I know. But the rest of the ninth inning was awesome.
Thank God it did not matter. But just completely insane.
Yeah, I crashed out in my living room at about 11:30 last night. So I don't know. I was. We'll get off topic. We'll get off topic. The rest of the ninth inning
won last
was
night,
awesome.
believe it or not, folks.
Yeah. The rest of the ninth inning, however, was awesome. Some just fantastic at bats put together across the board. Ke'Bryan Hayes, Will Benson, TJ Friedel gets the job done with the sac fly, and then you get I don't even remember who was in the 2-hole last night. That send had me so flabbergasted I forgot who even got the hit. I guess it was Luck. I assume, Luck's off Jansen. That's how bad it was.
This is bad.
That's how bad.
We're just worried about the send.
Nonetheless, the Reds did win that game. Mainly, obviously, it didn't end up working out for Hunter Green to get the win, but seeing him in his second start back look like he did in April, May, and June, it was awesome to watch. 11th career game with 10 or more strikeouts. I think he struck out a dozen. He was just in cruise control after the first inning, and there was nothing the Angels could do. Just nothing.
Yeah, when Hunter Green is on, it legitimately looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball. Like I'd say, like he's up there with like Skubal and Skeens when he's healthy and going. He did get popped for 3 runs last night. He did go back out for the 7th, which I loved. I was really happy he at least went out for the 17th to get through it. But allowed 12 strikeouts, no walks. I mean, the walks, it's just that's completely been eliminated from his game, it seems like. Sometimes he'd have starts where it just kind of blows up in his face a little bit. He walk 4 or 5, but that's rarely happened this year when he's been healthy. He's unbelievable, and Abbott's great, Lodolo's great, but when Green is going, he's the best of the bunch.
It's a different breed when he's on. I mean, he looks like Jacob deGrom did in those Cy Young days, where he's throwing 100 right by you, and then he's got this wipeout slider to go with it. I mean, it feels like if you're a hitter, there's almost nothing you can do. If you're not hitting the high fastball, then you're definitely not going to touch the slider. Just so awesome out of him. Awesome night from Ellie as well. Obviously, it doesn't come through. He didn't hit 2 home runs or anything, but hell, Miguel Andujar had 2 hits with a guy on first, base hits, and ended up with a pair of RBIs because they had the fastest man in the world on first base. There's not much you can say to really justify how much of an impact that Ellie can make on the base paths.
They were both pretty wild to watch, but the second one especially, it felt like he turned it on to just a gear that almost nobody has in baseball. He's nursing some quad injury apparently. You would not be able to tell by the way he was running last night. So maybe that's something that he's getting over, and he can get back to hitting for more power. And I do wonder if that's affected him more than he's led on, because he's not gonna say if it's bothered him or anything like that. I think he said in his press conference at the locker last night or the night before, I said, "Yeah, I'm fine," or something like that. I forget, but he just didn't want to talk about it. So that's not the type of guy he is. So we'll never really know how much he's hurting. But if he's getting healthy, then that is if there's anything the Reds need right now, it's just Ellie to go nuclear for about a week or two. Like we know he can do, and he's done this year.
For sure. But luckily, the guy hitting the head of him tonight, Noelvi Marte, has been, for my money, for the last 2-3 weeks, probably in the month of August, he's been the best player on the team. He's been so good, and at a time where really the Reds have needed him most because Ellie hadn't been hitting for power. He's still getting on base, still able to kind of do his thing at the plate. But it's not been, he's not hitting the ball 400 feet out of the ballpark. He's just kind of dinking and dunking here and there, and that's what's happened. How much of that goes to the leg injury that you just talked about remains to be seen. But Noelvi Marte is just on a heater like he was on in 2023, and maybe even better. I mean, on the year, he's hitting, 308, 309, something like that. And it's been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, the thing that's a little different, I think, with 2023 is right now he's getting into so much more power. And it's just such easy power too. Like his home run the other night to center field, it looked like he barely swung. And it just got out, and the same, that's the home run a week or two ago in Pittsburgh to dead center. Like it looked like he barely hit it. Then the ball just kept going. That was that Sunday game where it was like 21-17 final. But when Marte is going, he is an absolute blast to watch. And he's been so good for this team. I think his story this year has maybe been the best part of the Reds. Like, the Abbott season's been great, but yeah, I mean, he has just been unbelievable, and he's hitting for power. He's walking a little bit. I want to see him be a little more patient. He still chases that breaking ball outside the zone and stuff, but. And then in right field, it hasn't been great in right field either. But you got to remember, like he's never played right field before. He was a shortstop, then he moved to third. Like I think he'll eventually be fine in right field. I think if he just stays in good shape, and because we've seen him kind of fluctuate his weight a little bit. Like last year when he came back from a suspension, he looked bigger and just out of shape. But I think maybe him being in right field will kind of keep him in better shape in the off season, prepared to run more and be athletic in the outfield. So, and another thing is I'm not overly concerned with how bad he's looked in right field either. Because when you're raking like this, it just kind of doesn't matter. And you can be hidden a little bit in the outfield too than at third base. Like we see it. I mean, this series has been a great example. Brian Hayes has been outstanding defensively ever since he came over. But the other night on Monday was one of the best games I've ever seen a position player have defensively. And just that swap of Hayes and Marte has just been phenomenal for both parties.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, shout out to Nash Vegas Sound for telling me to turn up my microphone. I hope it's a little bit better now. But he's been playing right field for 2 weeks, and if you remember 4 years ago, Nick Castellanos was playing right field every day for the Reds, and nobody cared how bad that he was defensively because he started the All-Star game. He hit the hell out of the ball all year long, except for when he got hurt, unfortunately, which kind of derailed the season with him and Winker. But if he can be slightly better in right field than Nick Castellanos was, I'm fine with it if he keeps hitting the ball the way that he is. I mean, like you said, you can hide people. Juan Soto plays right field. I don't know how many people know how bad of a defender Juan Soto is, but it's not great. So you can hide it. You can hide it.
And another thing that Marte has on, and I like that comparison between him and Castellanos. They're different players, but in the same, I see what you're saying. Like, both just clearly not good in right field. Castellanos, I'll go on a limb and say he will never be good in right field at this point. He's like 33. Maybe he might be older by now. But one thing Marte has is he's got an arm on him, and Castellanos really doesn't have that. Like Marte's throwing out 2 guys now, and he's got great speed. Like, I mean, you put Marte in the outfield and Friedel in center and Benson in left. Friedel doesn't have great speed, but in the corners, you've got some really good athletes. Just keep Gavin Lux out of left field, and we've got a good defense out there.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Gavin Lux as well. Just the way that he's been hitting the ball, he's been really good this month. I think I saw something. He's hitting like 325 his last 25 games or something like that. Big shout out to him. His home run on Monday got the series off to a really good start, and everything's kind of fallen into place since. We'll look at the starting pitching matchups tonight. We'll go ahead and get into that. Nick Martinez on the hill for the Reds, 10-9, 4.73 ERA. Against the Angels, there's really only one guy that has seen him a lot, and that's the big fish, Mike Trout, who has crushed him. He's only hitting 273, but 3 of those 6 hits have gone for extra bases, with 2 of them being home runs. Looking at the lineup that he's going to face tonight, let me pull this up here. I had the Mets score up, so I got to switch tabs real quick. But looks like Zach Neto, Rengifo, Trout, Ward, Moncada, Joe Adell, who that ball that he hit off Luis May last night, that was unbelievable. One of the hardest hit home runs you'll ever see. Then Travis d'Arnaud back in the lineup catching again tonight. Cavadas at first, and then Teodosio in center rounds it out. What are you looking for out of Martinez this evening?
I'm looking for Martinez to regain his focus after the Brewers game where he got absolutely smoked. He came out after the game, said he lost his focus. 1, I don't know how you lose your focus in a game like that. 2, he has to refine his focus tonight and give the Reds. I think he's going to give the Reds 6 innings tonight. They need a good Nick Martinez start. It's felt a little more this year like we just don't really know what we're going to get from a game-to-game basis from Martinez. A lot of people have said that about Singer, but I honestly, I think I have more confidence in Singer at this point to go out and give me 6 innings. So, but I think this is a good Martinez night. Almost said Nationals. I have the Mets Nationals game. We're locked in on the Mets and Nationals game.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the Angels lineup isn't great. You remove Mike Trout from this lineup, and it's one of the worst lineups in baseball. And Trout isn't even really having that great of a year. Well, he still has an over 800 OPS, but he's still Mike Trout. But you remove him, Rengifo hasn't had a great year. Moncada's fine. Adell doesn't really hit righties very well, even though he hit 2 homers in the series. d'Arnaud doesn't hit righties well. I don't know who Nick Cavadas is. Bryce Tioso is a defensive center fielder. So this is a lineup that Nick Martinez needs to pitch well against.
Yeah, and this is a big bounce back spot for him, and it feels like he's bounced back really well when things have gone haywire this year. So, I mean, he gave up, 10 earned runs against Miami of all teams. Has 2 outings out of the bullpen after that, just kind of stepping up really when the team needed him to do so. And then his next start, he carries a no-hitter into the 9th against the Padres, one of the premier teams in the National League. Huge bounce back start for him. I really like the way he matches up against this Angels team. My thing for him is just don't hold the changeup back. And I hate when he does this. Cowboy mentioned this on a start that he had maybe a month or so ago. His first time through the order, sometimes he runs into trouble because he's not throwing his best pitch. And I understand, not wanting to show your hand, but we're in August now. Last September, when he was dominating and won National League Pitcher of the Month, he was throwing his changeup whenever. I mean, it's his very best pitch. It's really opens up his fastball and his cutter, everything else that he likes to throw. He just has to use it. And especially against the lineup that we saw last night was hunting fastballs against Hunter Green early on. That changeup is such a weapon. He's got to throw it early and he's got to throw it often. I think he will, and I really think he gives the Reds at least 6 innings tonight.
Yeah, I that is definitely his best pitch when he's got it working. And whenever he gets hit, I feel like he's always either hanging a cutter or a changeup right down the middle. And that's just a pitch he needs to avoid. Trout and Adell and Ward, those are definitely the 3 biggest power bats, and they will unleash on one of those if it's hung in the zone. So I think tonight is a good opportunity for Nick Martinez. I'll go ahead and talk about the Angels starter. Yusei Kikuchi throws 6 pitches. It's mainly a slider and fastball. Mixes in a curveball changeup as well with a sinker and sweeper that mix in every once in a while. Fastball sits around in the mid-90s, and hitters are only hitting 214 against his curveball. and under 230 against his changeup. Not too many guys have faced Kikuchi in this Reds lineup. Well, I guess 4 have. Austin Hayes 4 for 23. Keep Ryan Hayes 3 for 5 with a homer. Trevino 2 for 10, and Miguel Andujar 1 for 6 with a double. So, but Kikuchi lately hasn't been good. His last 2 starts, I think he's went 8 or 9 innings and gave up 8 or 9 runs. I mixed those numbers up, but Kikuchi hasn't been great lately. So. And honestly, like the Reds lineup right now against left-handed pitching, you see it on the screen, is pretty solid. Especially with Andujar in the middle. Hayes has been struggling for a while, but he crushes lefties. Steer, against these kind of soft tossers, I like Steer a lot. And then you see Trevino, who's been playing pretty well. So, and then Slapdiago Espinal, as Hunter calls him, down there in the 9 hole. So yeah, I think the Reds have a good shot tonight against Kikuchi.
For as much hate as I give Santiago Espinal, it's an advantage having him in the lineup today and having him in the clubhouse today. He and Kikuchi were teammates in Toronto for, I believe, about a year and a half, maybe more. I know they were both on the 22 team. Watched a lot of Blue Jays baseball when Phil Castellini told me to find somewhere else to go. I think
followed his instructions.
Yeah, if I followed his instructions while the Reds started out 3-22. That was a painful watch that year. Kikuchi's main issue, he's having the best year of his career in terms of WAR at 3.4, but his last 5 starts, he's walked 9 guys totally combined, and he hadn't been throwing a lot of innings either. So I think he's only gone 6 once. He's pitched into the 6th a couple of times, but the walks have gone up. Home runs are down for him this year, which is huge for him at least. But for the Reds, a team not really built to hit home runs, as has been a talking point all year long in Cincinnati. It's huge for them that he's trying to keep the ball down. And if the Reds want to slap it the other way and, have Slapdiago Espinal figure it out and slap it through the right side, I'm all for it. If whatever approach that they have right now, I'm trusting it because they're winning ball games. If they weren't winning ball games like it was in April when they started 3-6, 3-7, whatever it was, that's a different discussion. But right now things are going well. The offense still isn't great. We still haven't seen their best, but they're definitely, at least it feels like to me, starting to turn a corner. And there is a name absent in the lineup tonight. That's Matt McLain. I can't stand watching Santiago Espinal play, but he has to play over Matt McLain right now. It's just the simple fact of it. McLain, I think it's 0-56 prior to that hit he had the other way last night. It's just not working, and I don't think the Reds are doing him justice by leaving him out there.
Yeah, they've been mixing and matching more at second lately, trying to get him out of the lineup and other guys in there. But it's just last night was so bad. It really made me feel bad for McLain. And he's had a couple rough plays defensively lately too, and I just kind of wonder if it's just kind of leaking over to that side. I think it becomes a mental thing at this point. You lose so much confidence. You're hitting at the bottom of the order. He hit behind Ke'Bryan Hayes last night. And if you would have told me anyone was hitting behind Ke'Bryan Hayes when we traded for him, I'd be like, what? Something has gone very wrong. And something has gone wrong. It's McLain. And Espinal right now is probably our best option at second, definitely against left-handed pitching. But what are your thoughts on the rest of the season at second base? Do you look at Sal Stewart? Do you continue to roll out this Espinal, Lux, McLain thing that's kind of painful to watch? What do you do?
I mean, I would call up Sal Stewart. I know he's playing second in Louisville tonight, but you got to give him a little bit to play second base in the minors before he comes up and makes his big league debut, is kind of the way that I look at it. I think they're going to call him up on the first day of September, on Labor Day. This is my personal feeling on the matter. I don't think you can call a guy up when he's barely ever played that position before. Definitely don't think you can do that. I don't think it's fair to him. You wonder if that would affect his bat, which he's been just scorching hot at the plate ever since he got called up to Louisville. I believe that was after the All-Star break. At the moment, you have to keep with this Lux, Espinal, McClain trio, and then really the worst of the three, if you're going to call up Stewart. Espinal, you DFA. Don't think Lux is going anywhere. And then if McClain's the worst of the three, then McClain's got to go down, is the way that I look at it on September 1st.
So you would DFA Espinal and send down McLean versus Stewart?
Whoever's playing the worst is what I'm saying. So if Espinal was the worst of the three,
I gotcha.
Pack your bags, buddy. We'll see you down the road. Tito will probably throw a fit, but
would he retire?
It's a good question. it's a good question. I really think so. I really think that would definitely be on his mind if the Reds DFA'd Santiago Espinal.
Yeah, that would be just such a shame. I'll go on to. Did we do the Angels lineup? I don't think we did. I'm going to go ahead and do it, even if we did.
I read it off, but we'll.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's do the Reds lineup. I'll do that then.
All
TJ
right.
Friedel will lead it off. Noelvi Marte, 2-hole. We're going to talk about that. Ellie hitting third, and Duhar DHing. Hayes, Steer, Trevino, Brian Hayes, and the aforementioned Santiago Espinal. What are your thoughts on the 2-hole hitter, Noelvi Marte?
I mean, I would flip him and Ellie in a perfect world, but the way this guy's been swinging the bat, he's got to move up in the lineup. Hitting Noelvi Marte sixth or fifth, as they have been lately, he's got to get more at bats. He's been the best player on your team for a decent chunk of time, even with Ellie on the team. I know we all love Ellie De La Cruz, and he's a phenomenal talent, but it hasn't been amazing for him as of late. Noelvi Marte has carried this team, I feel like, with the way that he's been playing. I love batting him in the 2-hole. Obviously would love to bat him behind Ellie, but nonetheless, I love that he's higher in the lineup.
Yeah, if Ellie's gonna hit third, then Marte's the guy I would want ahead of him. I don't want Lux ahead of him because then you put a lefty in, and then he gets Friedel, Lux, Ellie, or maybe Espinal or McLean instead of Lux. But then you're just forcing them to throw a lefty, and Ellie is clearly better from the left side. So that's why I like having Marte there and Andujar in the cleanup spot. If you put in a lefty to face Ellie, then he's got to face Andujar too, and Andujar is one of the best hitters in the league against left-handed pitching. And then you also got to face Hayes. So the lineup, I think, for how Tito makes his lineups with Ellie hitting third, I think this lineup is as good as one has been probably all year. I mean, if Stevenson's going, we'll probably talk a little bit about that. He went on the injured list today, but when Stevenson's going too, like he also crushes left-handed pitching when he's going. He hasn't really gone too much this year, unfortunately, but that's just how it's gone. So, but I really like this lineup a lot. Yeah, if Andujar can continue to play like this, then that will that trade looks awesome. I mean, since he's come to the Reds, he is slashing 359, 432, and 641. A 641 slug is just insane.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He needs to play every day, and I'm happy Tito is playing him every day. It kind of stinks that he's only really a DH, but it is what it is. Like we need guys who rake, and he rakes.
Yeah, for as much as we value defense, if you don't score, you don't win. It's just the way it is. And with this pitching staff, the way that they really carried this team for a decent chunk of the year, I mean, most of the year, really, you got to have guys like Andujar who you plug him in the lineup, he's hitting cleanup behind Ellie De La Cruz, he's a bopper, man. Like, he's crushing the ball. He's been awesome since he came over. I think he had 3 hits last night, if I'm not mistaken. But this is well-constructed a lineup as we've seen all year, especially against left-handed pitching. We'll move to the bullpen. Seems like Pagan's well-rested. Obviously, we talked about Luis May.
Better be better be well rested.
Yeah, he better be a couple days off.
I had to
and we
watch
gotta
Luis May in the 8th inning yesterday. He better be rested.
Yeah. Big shout out to Tony Santion for just being big tone. I mean, what's he, 65 games now this year, I think he's thrown in. Just you couldn't ask for any more out of Tony Santion. I know we're going to be asking for more out of him as we move even more down the stretch and hopefully into October, but just the unsung hero of this team all year long has been Tony Santion in those late innings, high leverage spots, just doing what he does, going out there and being an animal. And Pagan back tonight. We'll see how that goes. If the Reds are in a spot to use him, would love to see him. Think you pretty much have everybody though. That's kind of the way I look at it. I think you pretty much have everybody.
Yeah, May's pitched the last 2 days, so he's probably down. But besides that, and I want to make it clear, I like Luis. I think Luis May could be a very good reliever. But the high leverage, he's not ready for the high leverage spots. I mean, he's walking 8 guys per 9. Like when he came in yesterday, Cowboy literally said, "Put on your seatbelt," because everyone watching the game knew how painful that inning could be, and it unfortunately was painful. But yeah, and Barlow too this year has just been. I want to give a little quick shout out to Scott Barlow. It was a rough start to the year, but that guy comes in and just gets the job done. I wasn't on yesterday, obviously, but Monday night, just coming in and just shutting the door with no Pagan again, that was just absolutely massive. This pitching staff this year it would just be such a shame to waste the season when the Reds are pitching that well. Like it, it's just a shame. I wish they added one more bat at the deadline, but they didn't, and that's life. But man, this pitching staff, they deserve to pitch in October. This is the best the Reds pitching staff probably I can remember, at least maybe early 2010s with Cueto, Bronson, Homer, Latos. Those were some good staffs, but this staff I think is right up there with them.
Oh yeah, they've been phenomenal. Obviously, those teams had a little bit better of a lineup, but there's still a lot of young guys on this team and a lot of guys that can definitely come around. And if they get hot, me and Ricky said it on Monday. Who knows what can happen? There's no telling what can happen. Look around the National League Central. The Cubs are currently playing the Brewers, 2 teams we both do not like. The Pirates still hosting the Blue Jays, and the Cardinals are still in Miami. I believe I saw in the chat the Nationals are 3 outs from beating the Mets right now. That's really the game that we're keeping an eye on. Yeah, bottom of the 8th, and the Nationals are up 5-4. So let's root for the boys in the nation's capital. God, I never thought I'd root for the Washington Nationals, but why not? Why not? Gotta have them. This would be huge. The Reds win tonight and the Mets lose today, and you're even with 35 games to go. You're tied up at the last wild card spot. So let's get the job done.
Yeah, right now the Nationals just got through the bottom of the 8th. Got through the top of the 8th, sorry. So the Mets will have 3 more outs to play with, down 1. Yeah, that's a big one. Did you mention what the Cubs are doing? Cubs are up. I'm still looking at the Cubs. I mean, they're free falling. Kyle Tucker for them. Excuse me. There's been a lot of talk about Kyle Tucker. He's been kind of like terrible for a while now. There's a bunch of fans turning on Ian Happ. Like it just hasn't been pretty for Chicago in a while, which really just breaks my heart. I'm so sad about it. But yeah, I look forward to a Reds victory tonight.
Same here. Yeah, it seems like things aren't going too well in communist Russia on the north side of Chicago. That's just I can't stand the Cubs. My mom and dad are both Cubs fans. I don't know what's wrong with it, but luckily I didn't get those genes at least. All right, any predictions tonight, Max? What do you got?
I think Andujar just hits the ball like 450 tonight, just for fun. What about you?
You know what? I'm going to do it. Santiago Espinal, his first home run of the year. It's happening. Santiago Espinal is going to hit a ball above 90 miles an hour exit velocity. Christ is going to come back. It'll be a miracle. It's just going to be the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Will he slap it the other way, or is he gonna pull the ball?
Oh, he'll pull it. He doesn't have the pop to send that thing the other way. You know better. All right. Well, everybody, thank you all for watching so much. Chat's been awesome today. Our guy, Optimistic John, always a pleasure. I believe we're on. I don't remember the next time that I'm on. I'm in Central Time now, so kind of miss a couple of shows a week. But next time we're on, we will be on. Max, I assume you're on next Wednesday?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Go Reds.